Mr. Vice President, we have a lot of friends and allies in the Muslim world. You mentioned King Fahd, King Salman, King Hussein, and you mentioned on my radio show tonight you have enormous respect for President al-Sisi. How do we communicate with them in the political climate of today? And it's headlines all over the place about the Syrian refugees, about immigration policy to the United States, visas. How do we communicate at the same time we communicate worrisome news about the radical Islamist fringe, and at the same time that we are allies and reliable friends? How do you do that?
Well, first of all, most of them don't trust us. General al-Sisi, who I've spent a couple hours with while he was still a general before he became president of Egypt, and I was very impressed. And I've been impressed with how he's handled himself since. He's one of those leaders, a military leader who's Muslim, Egyptian, but he went to the most important religious institution almost in the Muslim world, the university in Cairo, and basically laid it on the line and said, you know, you guys have got to get your act together. I mean, he was willing to lecture some of the religious leaders of his own faith. I haven't heard anybody else do that. He told me something very interesting and frankly very, very disturbing. He said, and this is a guy who commanded the military, which is pretty good military in that part of the world, armed and equipped with U.S. weapon systems, U.S. training, worked very closely with our military. He said he'd like to come to Washington, but instead he'd gone to Moscow. Not because he wants to make nice with the Russians, but because the people of Egypt are convinced this administration supported the Muslim Brotherhood, the group that got Morsi in office, the radical Islamist president that they eventually overthrew and has since been imprisoned. But the people of Egypt are convinced. His domestic political body that he has to deal with are so convinced the U.S. and the Obama administration are the bad guys that have created problems for them, have tried to legitimize the Muslim Brotherhood and so forth, that it's not politically safe for a president of Egypt to come spend time with Barack Obama.